So Orlando is the best U.S. city to flip homes for profit according to a recent study by RealtyTrack. Guess where Tampa comes in? Tampa comes in number 4 on the list. 5 of the top 10, according to RealtyTrack, in terms of profitability for flipping, are right here in the Sunshine State. And California cities are also very high up in the RealtyTrack rankings. They based their profit, though, this is something I found kind of interesting. So they list that Orlando had 1,912 flips for a 63% gross profit. Tampa had 3,033 flips for a 43% gross profit. And then Miami, 4,299 for 37%. Lakeland at 660 with 37%. And Sarasota, 999 at 34%. Keep in mind, they're talking about gross profit here. They're talking about the difference between what they bought it for and what they sell it for. A lot of these people spend a lot of money rehabbing homes, and we work with several of those clients, and I can certainly tell you that 43% profit margin is not the norm. That's pretty high because they're talking about a gross profit. You know, after they start factoring out their expenses and all that, certainly those numbers seem pretty high to me. But again, it's what makes the ad seem a little bit more sensational and will get people's attention. But in reality, the numbers aren't nearly that strong, at least in my eyes when I look at some of the numbers. And anytime you see this kind of thing where they say, you know, oh, these are the most profitable areas, they're talking about they were the most profitable areas in 2012 to flip. The downside of real estate news and data is that you're paying attention to news and data that's a year old. And, you know, so people that would read this and say, okay, well, now I'm going to go out and start flipping homes. Sometimes you might have missed the boat. It might be too late. That data that talks about how Tampa's number 4, you know, it might be too oversaturated now. We've seen prices rise since 2012 significantly. So the margins to be able to buy and flip, it's gotten a lot harder in Tampa Bay. For the clients that we work with that rehab and resell homes, it's become a lot harder to find inventory. Certainly competition from large corporations buying up homes to rent them. A lot of that has come into play, but ultimately, if you're out there thinking about becoming a rehabber or a home flipper, you know, it's harder today than it was a year and 2 years ago. So keep that in mind. While all this news is coming out about how Tampa is this great city for people to flip homes, they're talking about how great it was in 2012. It's a little harder in 2013. So I thought that was important to touch on because anytime you see real estate news, you know, people will sometimes have that news go out and prompt them to act. But it's the forecast of the news. It's the action. The best action is before that news comes out. You know, being one of the, you know, people that are in front of that news. But if you're reacting to it, sometimes it's too late.